Shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from, and a shalom to the hopefully elect, the 144,000 chosen, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahushai. This is your brother Adah. I want to talk about the wicked hypocrisy of the so-called white man, the race of people known in the Bible as the nation of Edom, the hypocrisy of Renaissance Western Christianity, the wicked hypocrisy of the inhabitants or the population of North America, and the doctrine of patriotism, because what we see with America attacking Venezuela because of its oil. Let's look up something really quick. So estimated to 303 billion barrels.
303 billion barrels. According to Al Jazeera, estimated at 303 billion barrels as of 2023. Venezuela is home to the largest known reserves of oil. Saudi Arabia ranks second with 267.2 BBBL, followed by Iran at 208.6 BBBL, and Canada at 163.6 BBBL.
So South America, you guys, has more oil in it than anywhere else on the planet Earth. And you're telling me these fucking Edomite, these white motherfuckers, right? Let's keep just reading some more. The proven oil reserve in Venezuela are recognized as the largest in the world, totaling 300 billion barrels. They have more oil in Venezuela, and Venezuela is poor and broke. Why? Because of the policies of Esau Edom, the so-called fucking white man. And yet you got Christians in America teaching Renaissance Western Christianity, never bringing this shit up. You got ICE agents arresting the so-called immigrants, Latinos in America, and not even deporting them. They're taking them to concentration camps and doing all kinds of ungodly, wicked sacrifice and rapes and experiments on them. And at the same time, this wicked fucking race of people is entering into the Latinos nation, Venezuela, to act like they're doing a war against drugs, when in fact they want to take that oil, just like they did in the Middle East, you guys. Same race of people, same playbook, same Renaissance Christianity, same American patriotism, nobody's saying shit. And everybody thinks that white Jesus is going to come and rapture them out of here. That is, what Bible are you reading, man? What fucking Bible are you reading? Look at this.
I really hope that everybody
Look, this is a perfect
understands.
This is a perfect example of an Edomite Christian who swears up and down she thinks she knows what the fuck she's talking about. For one, women are not supposed to teach. That's that's all throughout the Bible. Yahushai did not pick one female disciple. Women are not supposed to fucking teach. Everything you see white American Christians doing, which then they taught our people to do, is contrary to what you see in the Bible. Listen to this bitch.
Now that every single thing that we're watching happen in this country and this world is being done intentionally. Every single move that they make is strategic and has...
She won't point out the race. She says they. Notice whenever white people are talking about their own race, it's always they, the Democrats, the Republicans, the rich, the elite. They never say their race. And they think that Yahushai, the Jesus, is going to come get them out of here. When Scripture says America, the Most High is going to destroy America, he's not taking anybody out of this country. Except unless you're one of the hopefully elect of the Israelites. And you get beamed up into a chariot, which is called a UFO by the same race of people. They never mention the chariots when they talk about the rapture doctrine.
Been planned out for decades with a single goal in mind. Now, if you are a Spirit-filled, Bible-believing Christian, then you know what that goal is. But if you are not, if you don't own a Bible...
So if you are a Spirit-filled, that means speaking in tongues, Spirit-filled, Bible-believing Christian, you know what that plan is. What plan is that? I have never heard a Christian speak about Esau Edom. I've never heard a Bible-believing Christian talk about America is Mystery Babylon the Great. I've never heard a Bible-believing Christian specifically point out the so-called white man as being the number one hated group of people by the Most High. Look, Isaiah 63. I've never heard a Bible-believing Christian teach this prophecy right here. This is a prophecy. This is a future prophecy, guys. Whoa, Isaiah 61:3. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? I've never heard a Christian explain what Edom and Basra means. Edom is talking about the nation of the so-called white man, and Basra is its chief city. So it would be like saying, who is this that's coming from New York, or Houston, Texas, or Hollywood, or LA, California? But specifically talking about who is this coming from what is known as where white people are. This is what this is saying. They don't say that shit. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. Talking about the chariot that he's going to be in, the so-called UFO. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Verse 2, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel? They never talk about him being bloodstained. And thy garments like him that treadeth in the white fat. If you've ever watched people, let's see if we can pull up a video. I got my brother pulled up right here. I was going to land back off of his.
People treading grapes are the wine fat.
So when you tread grapes, I want to show these ladies, but she falls over. You get red. Your clothes get red. It's the same stupid guy. That's horrible, man. They don't have any videos of this. So when you tread grapes, your clothes get red, dude. And that's what the scriptures are talking about. It's basically Yahushua he's so covered in grape juice that his clothes are bloodstained. Okay? These are horrible examples. Anyways. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel? How come your clothes are all red? And your garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? How come you look like you're covered in blood or grape juice? Verse 3 is the answer. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none to help me, for I will tread them. Who's the them? The Edomites. That's the focus. The Edomites and them being destroyed, for I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. Verse 4, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come, and the redeemed are another people. And then when you pull up another prophecy, vesture dipped in blood. This is not talking about the blood he shed on the cross. Vesture. This is talking about the blood of a race of people that he's coming to destroy. All right, so we go into Revelations 19. All right, let's read down. And again, I saw for the boom, 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 and I heard that word, let us be glad to be war. Okay, and her was, hold on, I fell at his feet to work. And I saw heaven to open. Okay, right here, look, 11. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. That white horse is a UFO. Heaven opening is the dimension opening up. A portal is opening up so that a chariot can come through. How many horsepower does your vehicle have? Does that mean that there's horses under the hood of your car? No. There's pistons. There's explosions. There's cranks, and there's shafts, and there's oil and gasoline and spark plugs, and that's what causes the torque in your engine, and they call it horsepower. Is there fucking horses under your hood? No. So that's what this is saying. And I saw heaven open up because horses can't fly. And behold, a white horse. The white goes into the purity, the holiness. Horse is talking about a chariot, a UFO. And he that sat upon him, there goes your traveling in his strength that it talks about in Isaiah 63 verses 1 through 4. And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true. And in righteousness he does judge and make war. This is the rapture, you guys. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Where are these crowns coming from? From all the nations that he's going to whoop. Just like when you see a boxing champion that's got 3 titles in 3 different divisions, and he comes into the ring with 3 belts on him, and he's fighting the challenger. This is the same thing. Yahushua has whooped all the kings of the earth. He's got all their crowns on his head. showing his supremacy. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. That's the blood from all those kings. And from Esau Edom, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies, the other angels, and other UFOs which were in heaven followed him upon white horses too. So a whole fleet of UFO ships are going to manifest in the sky. This is the war of heaven, Revelation chapter 12. This is the battle of Armageddon, the day of the Lord, Yahweh Shaphat, the day of darkness. And the armies, but no Christians talk like this. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword. There goes all the flames that come out of his mouth in chariots, mentioned in 2 Ezra chapter 13. That with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of God Almighty. And he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. This is what's coming, okay?
I am living out the Zionist dream.
And so you come into here.
We have some major news. The Trump administration.
You see the fucking Americans right now starting a war with Venezuela. Why? Because they have oil, not because they're selling drugs like these sorry white pink flesh devils are accusing these people of doing on the news.
Administration is preparing for war in Venezuela, and not many people are talking about it. So there was a heated meeting, according to The Atlantic, with the former leader of the Southern Command of the United States military that was responsible for overseeing the South American region, the Caribbean region. That leader, that admiral, resigned after that heated meeting with Secretary Pete Hegseth because he thought essentially that what the United States was doing near Venezuela was likely violating law. And now, since then, the strikes have only increased. We now have a carrier strike group going to off the coast of Venezuela. We have military exercises happening in Trinidad. And folks, all signs point to the United States of America going to war with Venezuela as soon as potentially in the next 2 weeks. Now, this could mean boots on the ground. This could mean just strikes from the air. We don't know.
So you got these bastards going to war against Venezuela. They're at war with Russia through Ukraine. They're fighting with the Middle East. They're fighting with their own race of people. They're gonna refuse the SNAP benefits for 43 million people. You see, and it's one fucking race of people doing this. And Renaissance Western Christianity is absolutely silent. All they're doing is talking about white Jesus. White Jesus this, white Jesus that. Pay your tithes, pay your tithes. We're going to get raptured out of here soon. No, you're not going fucking anywhere. You haven't even condemned your own government. Look at the fucking comments. Venezuela is sitting on the largest oil reserve in the world. If anyone is wondering why Trump is starting this war, exactly. Look at the amount of people that agreed, 4,000, because they know. You may be correct, but it's not just that. If we are at war with another country, the commander-in-chief can enact martial law, which will stop us from being able to vote during. So, yeah, true, but still making it about himself. Why do we talk as if that matters? Elections have been unfathomably meaningless. See, everybody, and this is August leading to prophecy, they will no longer regard their princes, and they will not listen to their kings. This is coming. This is 2 Ezra, you guys. Look, all you see right here, this is, and nobody in Christianity reads from the Apocrypha. They shall not regard. They shall not regard. They shall not regard their kings. Regard their kings. Watch. I don't know why it's not pulling it up. Boom. For there shall be seditions among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and not be able to. That's fucking martial law. All this is going to come. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread and for great tribulation. It's going to be all fucking chaos, bro. It's going to be nothing but chaos. And Christianity is not saying any of this shit.
But what we do know is that the United States is in a...
These fucking people can't accuse the Hebrew Israelites of preaching hate, of being racist. No, we are zealots. We love the word of God, and we're the true prophets. We hear the true voice. Yahweh Shai said, my sheep hear my voice. That word voice goes into doctrine. It's not just the sound of his voice, it's what his voice says when he speaks. And prophecy says the Most High is going to destroy America, and he hates the fucking Edomites. Okay? Let's see if I can find some more on that topic.
America has attacked Venezuela. Gerald Ford, with its entire striking corps, entered Venezuela, and surveys were coming out. About 64% were saying that America will attack Venezuela. At this time, many cities of Venezuela are under attack, and America had already made it known that this is its area of influence, and they will try to remove the government of Maduro. A few days ago, there was news that President Trump had given green light to the CIA, had given permission to change the regime, to carry out covert operations, which America has been doing from time to time in different South American countries. According to the Monroe Doctrine, which came in 1823, America had declared that this was their backyard, and no external power, including European powers, will be allowed to intervene here, because there are oil reserves. And apart from that, the Rare Earth Manual is also present here, and America wants to take it under its control. Iran, China, Russia have been supporting Venezuela. The Chinese surveillance system is installed there. Russia had launched its MiG-29 there. Now we have to see how Venezuela retaliates. America...
See how because of this one race of people, eventually World War III is going to start? You guys, and you can't just isolate this group of men from the rest of their race, because that's not how God works. When the Most High was judging Pharaoh, did not every Egyptian end up losing their firstborn child because of what they were doing to the Hebrew Israelites? So it's going to be the same way with America. America is likened unto Egypt all over again. So just because you see Trump or the top 10% white people that are strong, that are causing all these problems, you can look at them as the Pharaoh, but it doesn't mean that the firstborn, and I'm speaking in symbolism, that it doesn't mean that the firstborn children of all the other white people will not be killed. Meaning they're all going to be judged for what their fucking people do. That's how the Most High gets down. And people seem to think because of white people are doing it, Edomites, that all of a sudden everything changes. No, the Most High is the same. He changes not. He is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. And the way he judged nations in the past is the same way he's going to judge the so-called white man in the future.
There'll be no body cams, no due process, no warrants.
Sir, that not only goes against the operating principles of the NY.
Breaking, 30,000 Epstein files released.
And also, by the way, we just engaged in an act of war against Venezuela.
But focus on the files, guys. Ooh, shiny numbers. It's always the same fucking game. If they can't distract you, they'll deny it. If they can't deny it, they'll justify it. They're on these two right now. Because the U.S. thinly veiled act of aggression against Venezuela that killed 11 people, they are trying to justify by a attack against the drug cartels. Brother, America is a fucking drug cartel. Breaking.
Did you hear what he just said? Now, what is this? What are you seeing? You're seeing one of two realities. You are either looking at an Edomite whose tongue is falling upon himself, meaning he's talking shit about his own race of people, or you are looking at a Hebrew Israelite that looks like an Edomite, which is called the speckled bird. Okay, you got to understand that when you see this, and we can pull that precept to prove both of them. Look, their own tongues. This is in Psalms. Their own tongues. This is in Psalms. You got to remember, prophecy is a program that governs the spirits of the earth, okay? This is a program right here. This program is what governs the minds of the elect spirits that are Edomites, who are chosen by the Most High to see and to declare, confess, or whistleblow what their own race of people is doing. Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And because we were scattered, and the original Hebrew Israelites are black and brown men, We're dark melanated men, but because we slept, my heritage is a speckled bird. Because we slept with different types of women all over the earth, our children come out looking like all the other nations. Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds around me are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. Also, Ephraim talks about the northern kingdom, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. Ephraim is a cake half turned. See, the algorithm's already known. So Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. What does that mean? If you get a pancake and you pour it into the pan and you let it sizzle and you let it bubble and you don't turn it, one side is going to be very dark brown and the other side is going to be white. Right there, you see it. So this guy, hold on.
UPS fired 34,000.
God damn it. Hold on.
Defend this. It is so powerful.
Slovakia.
Wondering if
Let's see if I can find America, Venezuela.
Your liver is in trouble.
Okay.
Breaking 30,000 Epstein files released.
So that's what you see here. You are either looking at a son that is a Hebrew Israelite. If you trace his seed line back, somewhere that one of his great grandfathers is a Hebrew Israelite, or he's an Edomite, but he's been governed by Psalms, and his tongue is turning upon himself. Because listen to what he says. You got to understand too. All these words that we put on these lessons, these are considered spiritual epistles. You got to understand, especially everything is being recorded by the angels, but all this stuff, all the labors that the men of the Lord put together. And when we declare the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and we declare double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, you got to understand, we are making verbal decrees that are honored. We are identifying ourselves with the prophets that Yahweh Shai has lifted up. We are identifying ourselves with the new song. The new song is found in Revelations 14. It is the 100% truth doctrine. And Yahweh says, I lift my word above my name, meaning his name, the correct name, and his 100% truth are connected together. So when we build these 40-minute, 1 hour long messages, these 20-minute long messages, and we're weaving them with precepts to prove our point, you have to understand that the angel that is assigned to us takes these lessons in the form of smoke, they take them up to Yahweh and they present them as evidence on the earth. These are all cases. We are presenting a case before the Most High against these wicked motherfuckers, man. And everything these people say is a part of a witness in a case that is being built against Esau Edom. Does that make sense? Because that's what
And
this
also,
is.
by the way, we just engaged in an act.
And listen to what this guy says out of his own mouth about his so-called people. Listen.
War against Venezuela.
But focus on the files, guys. Ooh, shiny numbers. It's always the same fucking game. If they can't distract you, they'll deny it. If they can't deny it, they'll justify it. They're on these two right now. Because the U.S. thinly veiled act of aggression against Venezuela that killed 11 people, they are trying to justify by a attack against the drug cartels. Brother, America is a fucking drug cartel.
Bam. They are the biggest drug dealers on the planet fucking Earth. The crack cocaine epidemic was started by them. The so-called white man. You can watch it on Netflix. It's called Crack. They call it fucking crack. They brought that shit in from the countries that they were fucking occupying, through their airplanes, turned it into crack in their labs, set up gang members to sell the shit, and then documented it for years before they ever made a move on it, you guys. You do not understand the amount of blood that is on the so-called white man's hand. And nowhere in Renaissance, I'm going to keep saying this shit, because the 43 years that I was a Christian, no one ever spoke about the white man. All you do is it's hyper forgiveness, hyper love. And what does the Bible say? A false balance is an abomination before Yahweh. Let's get it. A false balance, meaning lopsided, meaning all you do is love and all you do is forgive. You never hate, you never judge. Is the sun, I'm going to ask a question, you guys. Does the sun stay up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year? No. It's up half of the day. And then what's the other part? The moon. So half the day is sunshiny, half the day is night and dark. Does it stay hot year round? Nope. It's hot half the year. It's cold the other half, right? Do you have just the right hand or do you have a left hand? You got a left and a right hand. Do you have an up and a down? Yes, you do. Do you have a front and a back? Yes, you fucking do. There is such thing as a chosen and a rejection. There's a love and a hate, you guys. There's redemption or forgiveness, and there's judgment and there's wrath. Everything has a second or a polar opposite to it. It's called balance. And the Most High is a perfect balance. And he doesn't just love. And he doesn't just forgive. That's bullshit. Okay? He doesn't just do that, man. It's wild, bro.
I just finally got confirmation that food stamps.
Let's get this. Let me see, an unjust balance. Unjust balance. Let me see if that pulls it up. Yeah. A false balance. A false balance is abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. You have to balance this up, bro. A false balance, lopsided doctrine is the same as homosexual anal sex. I know that's a disgusting fucking, and I apologize, Salakia. It's the same thing as a false balance is the same thing as a 3-month-old baby on an altar being cut in pieces for a sacrifice, because the murder of the innocents is an abomination. It's the same as witchcraft, you guys. You cannot, and all you hear with Christianity is love, 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 forgive, forgive, forgive. And you never hear anyone in those churches ever condemn the American government for a multitude of reasons. The American church is a 501c3 tax exempt doctrine, meaning you can only speak about certain doctrines, and that's how you get your tax exemption, which means all the tithes, all the offerings, all the money. This is why you see churches with fucking coffee shops and donut shops and clothing shops inside of them. All that money's tax free. It's all fucking tax free. They don't get taxed by and you see how wicked the government is. Why would the government be willing to make you tax free? Because what does the Bible say? A gift destroys the heart. See how easy a gift destroys the heart, bro. And the heart means your mind. It goes into your inability to judge. When somebody is giving you money, look, surely oppression makes a wise man mad. So when a wise man sees oppression, he gets pissed, right? This is not right. And a gift destroys the heart. But if they can pay you, if you're that wise man and you can see the oppression and you're getting mad and you're speaking out against it, if they say, hey, how about we give you, a couple $1 million a year? Would you be willing to maybe not be so pissed off? Oh yeah, you really sure could use that couple $1 million a year, couldn't you? And this is what has happened. And this goes into the dumb dogs that bark. Look, it all connects, you guys. I believe it's Isaiah 65. Hold on. Dumb dogs. They are all dumb dogs. They are all dumb dogs. Boom, 56, my bad. I was backwards. His watchmen are blind. What are the watchmen? That goes into your prophets and apostles. That's what you see us doing in these lessons. We are on the wall. We are elevated, and we are looking at all the threats. We're looking at all the doctrinal threats. We're looking at all the societal threats. We're looking at all the religious threats, and what does a dog do? What does a dog do when a dog is inside of a house and everybody's quiet, sipping coffee, watching TV, and the dog all of a sudden starts to growl and bark at the door or bark and growl towards the wall? What is that dog doing? That dog is picking up the scent of a stranger. That dog can hear someone outside walking down the street that you can't hear, and that dog is warning the household. That dog is warning the camp. There is an intruder outside, beware. And we always, because we're all so domesticated, and we don't understand threats, because we're the we're the city of unwalled villages, and we've been entertained to sleep. What do? We tell the dog to shut up, be quiet when the dog is doing its job. Look at Isaiah 56:10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Look at the next verse. Yea, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain, for his quarter. The last is the point. Come ye, they say, I will fetch wine. What is that going into? The false philosophies of the so-called white man. God loves everybody. God forgives everybody. And this is why you see these pastors never saying shit about the American government or the so-called white man. Come ye, say they, I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall we be as this day, and much more abundant. It's a fucking feel-good message, man. There's Hebrew Israelites that are doing this, and all of fucking Christianity is doing this. And it's right there in the scriptures. And when I was a Christian, I didn't know any of this. But I was very vocal for Jesus. I was the kind of Christian that I would be at a goddamn movie theater and fucking stand up on the goddamn fucking chairs and tell everybody Jesus loves them. I was on fire, man. But what I was doing was it was a false balance. It was just love and forgiveness only. There was no judgment. There was no hatred for anything. And fucking, there sure the fuck wasn't pointing out white people and their bullshit. You don't want to hurt white people's feelings because that's where the money's at. Well, why do they have all the money, you guys? Because they are currently in their rulership, and they are the nation of Edom. And Christianity doesn't teach this. And we see their fruits. What did Yahushua say?
Amazon laid off 30,000 people.
And then you just can go on. You can just go on TikTok. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Amazon laid off.
You see the fall of the so-called white man. All the majority of TikTok, you guys, is either the fall of the so-called white man or all the hypocrisy of him or all his wicked practices coming out. And his own people are saying it and all the other nations are saying it. This is why they're going to turn this fucking app off, and eventually they're going to turn off the entire internet. Too much information is specifically coming out only about them. Do black and brown people do dumb shit? Yes! And the scriptures say 2/3 of our people are going to die, and they deserve it, and they need to die. Because they won't fucking repent. When I say that, I'm talking about them YNs. I'm talking about them fucking ghetto queens. I'm talking about the fucking cartel. Our people do dumb shit, you guys. And they need to be destroyed. 2/3 of them will be destroyed. But the so-called white man has been on a fucking rampage since he has been in rulership, and he has never stopped, and he has never been judged for his fucking global atrocities. And if the Most High is a God of balance, and he is, you can best believe there is a judgment coming to the so-called white man. It's in the scriptures. We're going to get one more, just so you guys can't say shit. We're going to go Obadiah. Just going to read Obadiah, man. Look. This is one page. One page. 27 verses, 21 verses. I never heard anybody in Christianity teach how this book. Look, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. The focus is Edom, you guys. Not everybody on the earth, but Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. And that's what you are seeing. You're seeing the beginning stages of that now. Everybody's beginning to question the so-called white man. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. The so-called white man comes from the Petra, the Mount Seir Petra, and they were the first race to master and develop the high-rise skyscraper. Once they did it, all the other nations followed suit. So this is giving you a peek into who this is talking about. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? That's a very proud statement. Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and we know that the national bird of America is eagle, so it is of Spain and France and Britain and England, and it's on the back of the dollar bill, it was on the back of the Roman coins, it's on the top of every American flag and courthouse. It's talking about the so-called white man, you guys. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars. This is talking about all the space programs, talking about their satellites, talking about them always going up and claiming if they went to the moon when they can't get past the Van Allen belt. Okay, though thou make thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? He's talking about when thieves steal, they stop when they have enough. But when you steal, you keep going and you don't stop. And they haven't stopped. They have not stopped stealing since they've been in power. If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they leave some grapes? How art the things of Esau searched out in these scriptures, listening to the Hebrew Israelites who follow GMS and give double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, because we have the 100% truth. That's how. Because Christianity ain't doing it. Verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that goes into the EU and NATO is going to turn on America. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? And that's what we see is happening now. And understanding out of the mount of Esau, the mount goes into the government or the rulership. So the Most High he's attacking the minds of white men right now. He's removing their ability to operate in their witchcrafts. That's what that goes into. This is what the Most High does with every wicked rulership when it comes time to bring them down. You can go into Daniel chapter 5 and see the same thing happening with the rulership of Babylon as they are falling down and the Medes and the Persians are about to take over. The satanic priest of the Babylonians was no longer able to interpret the mysteries because the spirits that were giving them power to rule were being commanded by Yahweh to stop talking to them because another race of men were going to be ruling in that position. And that was the Medes and the Persians. And it's the same thing that's happened to the Edomites now. They get all their power from the satanic side of the left hand. Verse 9, and thy mighty men, O Teman, the Teman of the Germans, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau, all the rulership of the so-called white man, may be cut off by slaughter. This is a violent prophecy directed at one race of people that Christianity never explains. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, because Esau is the fraternal twin of Jacob. We are related to these bastards. And this is why they genetically fucking hate us so much. Because the Latinos, the Native Americans, and the so-called blacks are Jacob. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off. See, so when white people say, oh, you got to forgive me for what we did, or you got to forget about what we did. No, that's not what the scriptures say. That's what you say, because you don't want to have to pay for what you've done. Yet, at the same time, white people own all the prisons in America. So they want you to have mercy on them, but they don't want to have mercy on you. Do you see how it gets uncomfortable the more we talk about this? Christianity is a fucking deal with the scriptures like this. Why Jesus is bullshit, you guys. Yahweh Shai is the truth. 11, and that day that thou stoodest on the border on the other side, and that day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, When we went into slavery, they celebrated. And foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem. Even thou was as one of them. That's what this is talking about. White people always celebrate when something bad happens to us. And you fucking brown and black people who love them so much, you know it's the truth. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, when we left Israel and we became as the heathen. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah, that's the southern kingdom, the so-called blacks, in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of darkness. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. They stole everything from us. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. See, people don't want to see this part. They just want to hear about forgiveness. No, there's retribution coming. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though that had not been. Talking about the cup of judgment. 17, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. Zion goes into the elect of the Israelites. That's the rulership of the Israelites. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. That's the northern and southern kingdom. And the house of Esau for stubble. You guys have to see this. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. I'm going to stop it right there for the second time. You have to see these prophecies. Christianity, Renaissance, Western Christianity, doesn't read the entire book. They read a couple scriptures out of the New Testament, and they make an entire belief system off of those handful of scriptures, which can easily be destroyed when you apply the entire roll. The entire roll, bro. Who do you think knows the Most High and His Son more? Someone who knows the entire book from front to back, including the Apocrypha, or someone who has 5 fucking New Testament scriptures and only talks about Jesus, when that's not even his name? I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from, and a shalom to the hopeful elect, taking this truth to the 4 corners of the earth. Bidding the elect spirits to the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.